Hey, and welcome back to the Sunshine Summit. My name is Heather, and I am your host. I'm also the host of Sunshine PowerCuts, a podcast which has 2 different episodes that alternate. Sunshine ones offer inspiration drawn from nature, and in the PowerCut ones, I share insights into my life living off the power grid in New Zealand. And this week, I'm bringing a week of live streams celebrating connections because they're really important. What lights you up and what helps you feel connected to the world around you is something that I think is important and I want to celebrate. And I've got incredible guests joining me this week. We had earlier today Derek from Sometimes Geek and Rolling Misadventures. Today, right now, I have Rhett Hall from Braintrust Network, Wallfly Podcast and Cardinal Branding. And with a quick break, we'll be coming back with Steph and Anthony from the Off Centre Argis podcast. So an impressive and awesome first day of the Sunshine Summit for 2018. So welcome, Rhett.
Hi.
Hey.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're most welcome. Thank you for being here. And in our pre-chats and getting ready for this, it was kind of one of those things where our origin story to me is a little bit vague because I feel like we've been friends forever. I think I've been following you since early 2017. So it's been incredible seeing your journey over this time.
Yeah. We were talking about it, and I remember when we started everything, and I remember seeing you as a follower very early on on Twitter, which was kind of foreign to me because I didn't understand Twitter when we first started, and I was like, "Who is this Heather person?" Because she keeps retweeting and liking everything that we put out, and little did I know how awesome and how supportive of the podcasting community and just how awesome and supportive of just people in general you are. And so whenever this came along and I realized, you know what, I want to be a part of it because I want to celebrate with Heather and celebrate that anniversary of 1 year of podcasting for Sunshine and PowerCuts. And I'm glad to be here. I'm very excited.
Yeah, it's amazing, and a lot of things have happened, and you're a really creative person. So along the way, you've made a lot of awesome connections through podcasting and in life, and we've got some pretty amazing ones to celebrate today. So if you want to start and give us a bit of a background of what the Braintrust Network is, and because that was the one that you began with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the Braintrust Network, which I'm the owner and operator of, is a multimedia network. Mostly it's podcasting right now, but it started out as the Braintrust Brothers Network, and the short story is that I was working as a home health aide for a young man right around my age in a wheelchair, and we decided one day, you know what, we want to start doing podcasting, and it kind of was like I want to do something to maybe make money, because every reference that I had for podcasting was people making money doing it, and little did I know that that was not always the case, especially for independent podcasters. But we kind of created the network to sort of false legitimize the podcast that we were making, just to kind of like say we have a network backing us, right? And the first couple of podcasts that we created were the Peanut Gallery podcast, which was a movie and pop culture show weekly that we did, where we talked about movie news, directorial kind of things, stuff like where we would be finding out who got hired as a director, who was cast in a part or something like that. And then we started another show right around the same time, where it was kind of a test show, and we took one topic. It was called Free Therapy, because my client and I, we just kind of needed something to do and talk about and just not super structured, where we could just kind of chat. And so we started that, and ultimately the Wallfly, which is my podcast now, was kind of created out of that. The network has since changed names. Mm-hmm. It is now the Braintrust Network. We brought in some more ladies and female run shows, which is still cool. Something that we're wanting to do, because most of the shows on the network are run by guys. And so I wanted to make it more inclusive. And my co-host and co-creator of the time is no longer around and not really any part of it anymore. So I just thought it was time for a change, and we made a change early this year. And I think it kind of is a better name, and it just kind of makes more sense. But we have 10 shows now. We started out, the whole point, like I said, the false legitimization was it was kind of the beginning stage, but the dream always was kind of to build something like the Nerdist Network, like Chris Hardwick built out. He had all these shows and stuff like that, and build this community of podcasts, and that was the dream. But I never thought that it would happen. And fast forward to now, and there's 10 shows. We're looking to bring more on. We're looking to, I realize that sounds like moron. I didn't mean to say that. We're looking to bring more podcasts on, but we're also wanting to expand out to YouTube and Twitch for gaming and more video content and stuff like that, just kind of growing. And the ultimate goal of the network, just in general, is to help shows either starting out or maybe early on in the process of being podcasts and being podcasters, kind of build an audience to look at monetization and merchandising, and to just kind of have a home and a community of people who are like-minded, who are maybe, we're kind of all around the same age, kind of all in the same area. For the most part, we do have someone in Australia,
Cool.
Believe it or not, but it's just to build this community and build a family, and just kind of all of us help each other grow and get better at podcasting and just maybe life in general. That might be a little too ambitious, but we can start with podcasting and then go from there.
Yeah, I think that in podcasting in general, there kind of is this family feel to it. And it's amazing that you've created the network to, really make a kind of tight-knit family. And I love how that's how you promote it too, is like join the Braintrust family. Because yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. And I whenever I talk to people about joining or, whatever, I always say, like, talk to the people in the network. Don't just take my word for it, because I want you to know what it's like to be a part of it. And I want you to talk to them and find out how they feel about it. And, that's not something I feel like a lot of people will do. They want to maybe not trust people with the pitch or whatever. But I would much rather people who have been a part of our family and a part of our group sell it way harder than I do.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. It's that genuine, when people are genuinely enjoying being a part of something and they're getting value from it, it's a lot better coming from the horse's mouth, I guess, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's because they can connect with people that they interact with in their own way, and it appeal to them as well. And so you've got the 10 shows in the network, and you've got Wallfly podcast that you're doing, and you've recently just come back with an episode for that one. Yeah,
I kind of it's a long story, but I kind of took a little mini hiatus and worked on another project that ended up falling flat. Ended up having some differences with the co-host, and we ended up just dropping that. But I came back, and my show originally, like I said, it kind of came from this free therapy, and I sort of wanted to do something more where I was interviewing, which I really enjoy doing, or just having conversations with people. And so I kind of took it through this process, and now it's at the point where I still want to do that with the conversations, but I like having kind of this like personal journal show, and making some lifestyle changes and being able to talk about that and have the guests on that I want to have on, and not feel that if I put up an episode that's 15 minutes long and it's just me talking about what's going on in my life, that's okay. Whether people listen to it or not is whatever, but it's more beneficial to me just in my daily life and in my personal life and my mental state and everything, to be able to have that kind of journal where I know that people, even if they're, there's 30 people listening, that they know my story and they know kind of the things that I go through. And for the most part, a lot of them have some of the same struggles, and that's just kind of awesome to me.
Yeah. And so the concept is being a fly on the wall.
Yeah. So the idea is which obviously the name, the wallfly, it has two meanings, kind of. So, being a fly on the wall is being able, being able to see conversations or hear, kind of like eavesdropping in a way. So hearing those conversations that people are having, being in part of that you're not part of, but also a wallfly typically is someone that, they're in a group and maybe the people don't like them or they don't want them to be a part of a group. So they feel like kind of like an outcast. And so they say that they're really being a wallfly, or, like they're just kind of hanging around, or, and so I've always kind of felt that way. just in my life. And I always, I thought, because whenever I started the podcast and I had the group, whenever I changed the name, I just thought it would be funny to have like the Wallfly Society. So we're this group of just outcast people, which, you know, is awesome to me, because it's kind of funny, because group and Wallfly doesn't really go together, right? It doesn't really make sense for those for those two. But I want to build like a community of people who, you know, maybe didn't have a ton of friends growing up, or still don't have a ton of friends, but we can all kind of share in that, you know, in that lifestyle, or whatever, you know, how we grew up.
Yeah. And you've got the shared experiences, but a place where you can feel safe and hang out and want to be part of a community of people like you. Yeah. Derek from Sometimes Geek is in the chat, and he said the network has some of his favorite shows. Braintrust Network has. Actually, one of his co-hosts, their show is on our network. Oh No Lit Class. If you guys watched the previous one, he was talking about that. And Megan and RJ are just amazing people. They're hilarious and a lot of fun to sit and talk to. And I've been very fortunate to have them be a part of it. Their show has grown like crazy in the last 6 months they've been a part of the network, and 6 months. And it's just cool to see them starting their Patreon and getting people that want to support them, and them selling merchandise, which, you know, and I talked to Megan about it, and I hope she doesn't mind me saying this, but she said that if she hadn't have joined a network and somebody had pushed her to do that, she probably would have never done that. And that's just crazy to me, because I'm like, you have all these people who love you so much and people that want to support you, but it's just really cool to see that, you know, in every show on the network. You know, I'll try to list them if I can, if that's okay, if we have time. But so Oh No Lit Class, Field of Screams, There Might Be Cupcakes, Play Comics, Chris Osborne, he's one of my really good friends. Banana Split, and Solid 60, which are both the same host. The guy that's in Australia, Pat. Ride the Pine, which is a sports show that's one of the newer shows. What else do we have? The Pyramid, which is a project that one of the hosts of Field of Screams is working on. And so you see, like, as we go through, I'm all for people starting new stuff and helping them with their new projects. And, because I believe in creativity and just, if you have an idea, there's no idea that's too whatever. Let's work on that and kind of build it out. And so I think I said all of them. Okay. I may have missed one or two. I didn't mean to. If I missed one, I apologize, everybody. But my brain does not work that way sometimes. Well, they sound amazing anyway, and it's awesome that you've built out the community. Like, either way, having a network and having a space where people can come together and they can feel supported and and challenged, maybe even a little bit, but also just encouraged to do what they want to do and have that space to do it with the experience from everybody else. I think that's amazing, because we talked a little bit about it before. We've talked about it in the March Sunshine Summit, that we can feel a little bit nervous about putting our ideas out there, or even just some people even fail to launch. They fail to get off the ground because it's a big thing to put yourself out there. So I think that's amazing. So connections are clearly very important to you, because you've got the network and you wanted to connect with people in the Wallfly podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. And, like I said, someone who grew up, not a ton of friends. I grew up in a rural area of Alabama, and not a ton of friends who, kind of got me. I played music and stuff like that. I mean, other than the band kids, but having a community, and I've always found friends on the internet too. So having friends that are like-minded through the internet, first of all, I don't have to, I can meet them on the internet. I can talk to them on the internet. I can spend time with them on the internet. I don't always have to meet them in person, which is kind of fun, but it's way more convenient. I don't mean that I don't ever want to meet them, but it's way more convenient for building a relationship whenever, we can all have our busy lives, but we all can sort of come to this one place, this network of people, and we can all sort of get along and talk about our ideas and stuff like that, and razz each other if we need to, pick on each other or whatever needs to happen. But it's a really interesting thing that has happened that I didn't think would ever happen.
Yeah. I have to say that being able to make digital connections is incredible. And like I said before, here I am sitting in New Zealand and you're over there in the States, and we're in different time zones. And just the ability to do that, because when I was talking with Elisa Lucas in her podcast, it was like I learn a lot from so many other people. We experience life differently because cultures are slightly different and environments are different and things like that. So it's connections allow you to broaden your horizons, for lack of a better term.
Absolutely.
And lately you're connecting with other people in a different sense, well, also creative, but with Cardinal Branding and Designs, which you've launched recently.
Yeah, so that story was a weird thing. So I'm basically a graphic designer. I didn't go to school for it. I'm just going to preface it with that. But when I started the network, we realized that when we wanted to make designs and stuff, we went through Fiverr for the logo, the original logo, and it never really was quite what I wanted. And so I learned that if I want to do it, I'm either going to have to pay somebody a whole lot of money, or I'm going to have to do it myself.
Yeah.
And so through basically a year or so of just trial and error and, working in Photoshop and working with Illustrator, working with all these programs and online programs when I first started, like PicMonkey and Canva and some of these others, I think you've used Canva as well, right? So, how easy that stuff is to do, and you can make really nice looking stuff. And I was making all these logos, and like when people would join the network, I would make, either promotional materials or their podcast artwork for them, their actual cover art. And I just kind of figured out that I was kind of halfway decent at it. And so I quit my job a while back. I had started, I was working at a hospital and it was just not good for me. And so I quit my job and I basically was like, you know what, I'm going to be a freelance designer. And fast forward to, through the summer, and I've actually been able to make some really good friends and connections with both designers and clients, and work with some really cool people to make some awesome stuff, like stuff that I never thought that I would be able to create. And I had the idea in my brain, but I was never able to get it from my brain to my hands to the canvas, and so I've shocked myself with the stuff that I've made, and that's the humblest way I can say it, is that I just never thought that I would be able to make stuff, and I'm making stuff now, and it's really cool.
Yeah, and you're sharing that with people, and it's amazing. And I've watched a couple of your live streams lately, and that's awesome to have seen you on camera, but that you're also doing that thing for other people. And we've got a question from Andrew of Podcastage, and he said, have you been able to incorporate your music background in the new business venture?
First of all, Bandrew. We can gush about Bandrew in a minute. He's my buddy, and he's your buddy. No, I haven't, and I really want to. Whenever I interviewed Bandrew on the podcast a while back, we talked about, I've been playing drums for probably about 16 years now, and on and off. Some of it has been probably less playing than actually playing, just because of money and stuff like that, to be able to afford a kit. And I would love to be able to incorporate it and be able to do more stuff with that. But unfortunately, no. Maybe one day would be probably my best estimation on that. Maybe one day I'll be able to incorporate that.
That was my favorite part from your chat with Bandrew, was the music segment, because you both have a real strong connection with music, and it's amazing.
Yeah, we're both nerds. You can say it. You can say we're both music nerds. That's fine. I think he would agree with that. I'm waiting on him in the chat to say that that's okay to say that.
I think we're all nerds anyway. I think we're all.
Oh yeah.
This week especially, we're geeking out about connections, which I forgot to mention in Derek's stream, but I think that came out about because of the Sometimes Geek podcast, and so we're geeking out. And he said, "Who are you calling a nerd?"
Yeah, I'm sorry if you don't identify as a nerd. Oh wait, hold on. He's a geek because he's Geeks Rising. He's a geek. He's not a nerd. That's fine. I'm a nerd. I will own that. But you're definitely a geek, Bandrew. Which I didn't know was his real name, first of all. I had no clue that I thought it was a fake name, which it might be. Who knows? It might be. Yeah. But I didn't know. Whenever I first saw him on his channel, I had no clue that it was his real name. And it kind of threw me for a loop whenever he was like, yeah, that's my real name.
Yeah, well, he's amazing. And as you've heard probably in March with those ones, and this time around, pretty much a lot of the connections that I've made have been through Bandrew and his community. So yeah, but we will I'm very lucky to be closing out the whole Sunshine Summit again with him on the 17th of August or the 18th of August here in New Zealand. So I'm looking forward to that one. And he's been here in the live chat so far. So thank you, Andrew.
Absolutely.
And then just like not only your network, but other connections and things that you want, like you've got some pretty incredible personal connections that I want to celebrate today. And they're both close to home. So if you want to let us know and celebrate those ones.
So today, as it sits in the United States, right now it is August 11th, 2018. And today is my 5-year wedding anniversary to my wife.
Congratulations.
And I'm celebrating it. Yeah, I'm celebrating it. What a way to celebrate connections by being on a live stream while she's sitting on the couch over there with her headphones on watching TV.
That's why I said to you when you said, I was like, are you sure that's how you want to be spending your wedding anniversary?
No, it's okay because she knows that, she knows that, that this is important, and she's very supportive of all the stuff that I do. And I'm extremely lucky to have found her. In particular, we live in the town that she grew up in, and I moved here in 2011 and I met in February 2011, and I met her in April, and we've been together ever since. So like since pretty much the moment I moved here, we've been together, and it's she's my best friend, and nobody knows each other like we do, and so it's very, very lucky.
That's an amazing connection, and congratulations to you both. I think that's incredible. It's amazing that you're both supportive of each other, and I think that's one of the most important connections. Yeah. And
Absolutely.
You also have...
We have another one too.
You do?
Yeah. Our fur baby, Gilly. We adopted. We bought her. She's our 7-month-old today, by the way.
Happy birthday.
7 months old. And she's an English Bulldog Boston Terrier mix that we found at a pet store that is not of the most reputable kind. And we saw her on their website, for months and months. And the biggest thing was like we would see, I looked it up to see what the average time that those puppies would stay there, and it was like 10 days, and she had been there for 3 months.
Wow.
And we went and played with her and fell in love with her, and it just broke my heart to leave her there. And she was there for a week. We kept seeing her on the thing. I was like, oh, somebody's definitely going to buy her. And nobody ever did by like Thursday or Friday of that week. And so luckily my mom is just the most generous person in the entire world. She helped us because she was extremely expensive, like way too expensive to be coming from a place like that, and to be a mix. It was just this weird, like I didn't understand that. And so my mom helped us get her, and she has been the biggest thing for like our mental health has been being on a routine with a puppy. And sometimes it's hard, but it's definitely it's just like having a child, except for obviously it's different, but it's the responsibility that we needed to kind of pull ourselves out of that weird place that we were in. And it's been crazy. She's my girl, and she cuddles up and sleeps with us, and it's just the best thing. And I wouldn't trade her for the world, or I wouldn't trade Katie for the world either.
Oh, well,
but mostly Gilly.
I don't want to get in trouble, Rhett. Like, I mean,
that's okay. That's okay. She can hear me now. She's listening to me while I'm talking. So
that's not at all.
That's why I keep looking over to the side, because she's listening to the whole thing. So
yeah. Well, Katie is amazing, and Gilly is amazing, and it's awesome that you gave Gilly that opportunity that she might not have had. She might have been, who knows how long she would have been there for. And I bet you she's just delighted to be home with you and to be part of your family. And it is really important. Pets can be an incredible connection that we can have. I have a cat who I love to pieces. His name's Shadow, and I think that they help us because we're looking after somebody else or something else. And like you said about the routines and taking them for walks and making sure that they're healthy and keeping us active as well. And Derek said you need to add a puppy cam to your streams.
I will. If if I could get her to stay in one place for that amount of time, other than when she's sleeping, I will. I promise. But I'm looking at her right now, and she's basically sitting in my wife's lap, completely out. And if I had my headphones off, I could hear her snoring for sure. No.
Does she dribble?
No, she's sleeping. She asked if I wanted her to bring her over here so you guys could see her, but that's up to you. That's entirely up to you.
I don't mind if it's like, is she sleeping though? I don't know. Like,
no, she'll wake up. Come here. Yeah, bring her over.
Yeah, bring her over and introduce.
This is an improv moment. We did not plan for this. I'll try to not break everything that's in front of me with my camera. So
that's important. Hopefully she's not upset about it and she's happy to meet everybody.
Come here. Oh goodness. Oh goodness.
There she is.
There's my baby.
Hey Gilly.
So this is Gilly. You're gonna say hi to them?
Welcome to the Sunshine Summit.
This is my baby right there. You guys will probably
gorgeous.
Get tired of us. If you follow me on social media at all, you'll get tired of seeing pictures of her. So I post literally all the time. She likes to sit on our couch. We have like a center console between us, and she likes to sit on the couch and sort of like put her paws up on my shoulder and just kind of,
that's cute.
Sit there next to me. And yeah, it's pretty much the best thing. So that's my baby.
She's amazing. And yeah, thank you for sharing her with us. It's
absolutely.
Yeah.
You take her. She's a chunkster.
She's beautiful.
Yeah.
So she's 7 months old today. So that's exciting. And does she live indoors? Like she's not an outside.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She's definitely a house dog.
Yeah. Cool. How was that adjusting to having the puppy in the house?
It was good. Now she wants to come back over here and be next to me.
Right up with you.
It was good. The thing is like we're not the cleanest people always, and so it kind of forced us to be clean, a little bit cleaner at least than we were. But it's cool because I need that like closeness, the cuddles and stuff like that. I need that. So it's really nice because I'll tell you a little thing. So if I go to bed, we have an adjustable base bed that, the head and the feet come up, right? And so I'll go and lay down. I'll put it in what's called the zero gravity, which is just a little bit head, a little bit feet. So you're kind of like floating, right? And she will come and she'll wait for me to lay down in that position, and she will assume her position right between my legs and lay her head on my thigh and go to sleep.
Aww.
And it's like one of those things where it's like it just melts my heart every single time she does it. And and I just love her to death.
That's awesome. I got to see one of the pictures where her paw was up on your shoulder, and that was super cute.
Yeah. Hi, baby.
Yeah.
Now she's not scared to come over here,
and
which is not good because she's probably going to knock over a tripod.
Don't get too comfortable around the tech. Luke from Luke Who's Talking is in the chat, and he said, tell us more about this fancy bed.
I will talk about this bed for hours, so just stop me if I go too long. It is queen size. I can't remember the name of the brand. I think it was like, I know the mattress is something like what's it? Lily by something. It's like a cooling gel memory foam mattress with the lift and the head and the feet come up. I basically need to clean my house so I can do like an MTV Crib style thing so I can just show you like my setup, my TV and everything. I will not show you my refrigerator, but I will show you the bed if I ever actually clean the house and make it decent enough for people to see it.
Yeah. Well, having a good sleep is really important. And if you've got a really cool bed that helps you relax and get a good night's sleep, that is amazing. For anyone who knows me and has talked to me recently, you know that sleep is kind of my nemesis, and it's something that I struggle to do even though I need it. So yeah, I did manage to go to bed really early last night so that I was refreshed for today. So yeah, I'm glad that you've got a really good comfy bed that you like to sleep in. But does the dog move in them? Like, does she sleep with you at night, or does she go and sleep somewhere else?
Yeah. Sometimes she has a crate or a cage or whatever. Sometimes we'll put her in there depending on, what's going on. But for the most part, she stays with us and sleeps through the night on the bed, which is crazy because because she's only 7 months, like it's only I can only imagine when she's like 5 years old what she's gonna, because she's just gonna be a slob. Just anywhere we put her, she's just gonna pass out. So, but yeah, it's cool. Like we traveled up to see my family in Alabama for the 4th of July, and the night before we left at like 3 a.m. To beat all the traffic. And so we let her, I had to pack the crate away. So we just let her sleep with us, and she slept through the entire time while we were sleeping. And so I was like, yeah, I think we can do it. But she had to sleep in her crate while we were at my parents'. But when we got back, like she may have spent one night in the crate, and now she's been sleeping with us ever since. And I don't know. I sleep better. I don't know. She's like a little furnace though. She is very warm.
Yeah.
But I do sleep better, and I think it's just having, like, obviously I can cuddle with my wife, of course, but it's just a different thing. It's like having that extra security kind of thing there. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain it. If people have never had a dog that sleeps with them, then it's kind of hard to explain. But it's a security kind of thing for me.
That's cool. I'm glad that it works out, because when my cat is an outside cat but comes in early in the morning, and if I go back to bed or whatever, come and jump on the bed, but he is the most awkward thing. He doesn't like getting too close. He just likes sleeping at your feet, and you can't move. And if you move, he just like is a lump of cat. So, yeah. He's also bizarre, and he is a cat, so he can kind of fit in the most odd places to sleep. So I've found him sleeping in drawers before, and he usually finds a sunny spot when the sun's out and finds a good place to sleep there. But yeah.
Yeah. Cats are very interesting creatures to me. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that, because I'm not a huge cat person, so I will leave it at that.
Yeah. If we switch back to dogs, my mum has had some dogs in her time, and she's border terriers. I don't know if you're familiar with that breed, but they're kind of short little things, and they got really cute ears that look like drop triangles, and they're my favorite. But and she had her one that she's had for the last 16 years. She had to take her to the vet recently, and that was really hard for her, because you do build such a connection with them. They are like family, and yeah, that can be a little bit rough. So, yeah, she's still got 2 other dogs, so she's good. But it's just sad when it comes that time. So you make the most of them while they're there and have lots of fun memories. And stuff.
Yeah, my mom had a Boston Terrier Beagle mix for many years, and last year, right around November, we had to put him down. He got really sick all of a sudden, and it was extremely hard. It's one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. And he wasn't even my dog. He was kind of like a brother, you know, like that kind of thing. And, but it's interesting because of the Boston Terrier aspect of it. So Gilly, like, she's mixed with the Boston Terrier. Every mannerism that she has, everything that she does reminds me of him. A lot of the way that she runs and the way that she, plays and jumps and stuff is very much him. And so it's interesting to have found a dog that is very similar to the dog that we had that we lost. So it kind of feels like he's still there, and it's really cool.
Yeah, it is cool. And Gilly's got her own personality too, though. You're finding out what she's like. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is she, what kind of personality does she have?
She's very concerned pretty much all the time. And she's never had a table scrap. She's never had any food, but she's very interested in the food that we eat way more. Well, she likes her food too, but she's she barks at us. She'll sit and bark at us while we're eating because we're not giving her what's on our plate, even though we've never given her any table scraps ever since we've had her. She is very cuddly when she's tired, which is nice because she comes and she'll get in your lap and stuff like that, but she does not understand how heavy she is or how actually big she is, and so when she steps full force, and it's not always in the best positions. But yeah, she's one of those, like, she's just kind of up for everything. She loves being near us, which is really good. She likes that closeness and being cuddled up to us and stuff, which, if we had another dog who was just very independent, I don't think it would have had the effect on us the way that she did.
Yeah. And do you have favorite places to take her for walks and things?
we go out. We live in a pretty quiet neighborhood, so we can kind of walk her there. And then we go. We like to take. She likes to go on car rides, so we'll go to my wife's parents' house or my mom's house, and she likes to get out and run around with my mom's dog and their neighbor dog, and yeah. So we try to take her around the neighborhood a little bit. There's some dogs that people don't keep dogs on their leashes for some reason around here, and I don't know what the deal is with that, but so we have to be careful. But for the most part, she just kind of hangs out with us inside, and we take her out, maybe once a day. I mean, she goes to the bathroom, but for a walk we usually try to take her once a day, and she's a good girl.
Oh, and that's getting you out and about too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Is she like, do you guys have puppy preschool and stuff over there? Like, or are you doing training with her, or?
They do have it, and we were supposed to sign her up for it, but we didn't. So we're trying to, I used to show dogs, which is an interesting thing. We can talk about that. I mean, we don't have to, but when I was in junior high school, I did junior handling for the actual dog shows, AKC dog shows and stuff. And so I have a lot of experience with obedience training and stuff like that, because we had multiples that we had to take to the obedience training. So we've learned how to teach them how to sit, how to teach them how to walk on a leash. So we kind of know, and my wife has had dogs pretty much her entire life, so we kind of know how to teach her. We're going to take her to a obedience class, but we're trying to do it ourselves as much as possible, just because we don't want to spend the money to take her to a class, but that's a whole other thing.
Yeah. So how did you get into the shows and stuff? Because my mum also used to show dogs, because she used to breed the Border Terriers too. So we had a couple of champion dogs that we put through the shows and that. So yeah, I'm kind of keen to talk about that one if you want.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, absolutely. My dad, I moved in with my dad when I was 12, and I don't know how he got it in his head that we were going to do it, but he bought our first show dog, which was a Harrier Hound. And we got him from California, and that's kind of where it started. It was just a way for us to get out and bond. And, I love dogs. I'd never really had a dog before. And so, we did it, and we just, I don't know. I have no clue where it came from. I think maybe we were watching on Thanksgiving or whatever it is, where they have the dog show, the AKC show. And, we were watching it. He said, "Hey, would you want to do that?" And I said, "Sure, why not?" And so we kind of figured it out. And he found out that, junior handling, because that's not something that they show on TV very often, is the young kids doing it. And so I started probably right when I was around 13, maybe. And we traveled all around the Southeast of the United States doing dog shows. And I won a few times the junior, some of the junior handling stuff, some of the major junior handling stuff. And yeah, it was really cool and something to do. And then for whatever reason, we stopped doing it. I don't remember. It's been so long. I have no clue. But yeah, it was a fun thing to get out of school for. Really, it was really nice to get out of school to go to shows, because we'd have to leave early on Friday. And yeah, so I don't know. I don't remember a whole lot about it other than actually showing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun.
So you don't have any connections that have hung around since then?
No, most of them, because a lot of the junior handlers were, because we traveled a lot, there weren't many around
where you were,
where we lived.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it wasn't a huge thing. There was a kennel club there, but there were maybe a couple of junior handlers there, and they didn't go to the shows that we went to. So a lot of them were people that were either local or ones that went nationally. So I would see, 3 or 4 of the same people everywhere we went.
Yeah.
But they were always the ones that were the horse people that the horse kids that were, would ride horses, and they were they would always wear their pants and boots and stuff like they had just come from the stable everywhere they went. It was that kind of people. Their parents had forced them into it, and so they were doing it at every chance that they could. And those are not the kind of people. I was very counterculture. Those weren't the people that I wanted to hang out with doing it. So yeah, so I never really hung out with those people too much. But I wish I had made some connections, because I would love to do it again. But Maybe when we have children, possibly that might be something that we look into doing as
Cool.
a family bonding thing.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's
could be
awesome.
fun.
Yeah. And just kind of to tie all of this in, like we mentioned at the beginning about you're building your own community. So I wanted to know if you have plans, what you've got coming forward or looking forward to, new connections you might want to make.
Yeah. So, and any podcasters or anything that you're listening to, this is kind of for you or any multimedia people. Really, my big goal for with connections is to just keep adding more people into the network and keep working with more cool people. My biggest thing is, I'm all about creative freedom to do whatever you do, whatever your show is. And what I care more about is just cool people who I like working with, who are like-minded and want to grow and want to do cool stuff. And so my goal and my hope for connections and for the future of the network and my show and all this stuff is just to meet more cool people, to bring more shows in, more podcasters, more YouTubers or gamers or whatever they want to do. I'm willing to build out a platform and let's do it. Whatever they want to do. I just want to make build some more connections and be have our fingers kind of out in everything, and for everybody to sort of understand that the network is serious for one, but also we want to do all kinds of cool stuff, and we're all about cool people doing cool things. And that's my hope for that. As far as the my show goes, I would love to get some guests on there, maybe not podcasters, maybe do some more musicians or YouTubers or other creative people. I've kind of talked to a ton of podcasters, not that I don't love podcasters, but I have other interests. And so I would like to meet more people who are doing cool things, do other things, especially musicians, because that's such a big part of my life. And anytime I get a chance to nerd out about music, I'm all about that too. So
Yeah.
I think that's about it as far as the network and show goes. Just meeting some new people would be awesome.
Yeah. And then for Cardinal branding, kind of getting some new clients on board and doing.
Yeah, that would be awesome. By the way.
Yeah.
No, so I like working with podcasters for the branding stuff, especially with artwork and helping them build a social media presence, especially new people who maybe aren't savvy with that kind of stuff. And that's where the branding and design comes in, is like, I want to help you guys build a brand. And so I love working with podcasters. One thing that I'm trying to build out as part of my business right now is live stream production. So I'm working on, I travel to a client right now that is really helping me out a lot, and I'm producing their live streams for them. But my goal is to be able to do it remotely, to be able to do it from my home. So if you aren't super tech savvy with OBS, which is the broadcasting software that Heather is using, by the way, if you're not super savvy with that, or you're not savvy with overlays or graphics, or getting music in, or dealing with like a service that to get all that stuff together, either calls and stuff like that, then you basically hire me and I do that remotely from my home. And all you have to do is be on a computer with Chrome, with Google Chrome, and you just call in and you get to be the personality. And so that's what I'm working on. I've got a couple of people that I'm working with to do it. I would love to have some more people doing that, because the ultimate goal with that part of it, with the live stream, is to start doing local sports live streaming.
Cool.
And to help high school students and maybe local colleges to be able to get seen by scouts, most importantly, but also like if you have family who live out of town or past alumni, that's the word, alumni of the school who want to be able to watch it, but maybe they don't live close enough to be able to travel to come see the games, to have a streaming platform where we can show that stuff to them, and but also for scouts to be able to see these players and actually get some recognition for the talent that they have. And so that's the ultimate goal, but I have to do some more simple stuff right now to build that out, to get my chops up, for lack of a better term. And eventually that's something that I really want to do. And I'm hoping that within the next year or so will kind of come to fruition.
That'd be awesome, because live streams like this is a great way of connecting with people. And I love that you want to do the sports and help connect them with the scouts, like you were saying, but also people who may not be able to be there to watch. And that's why when you posted on Facebook about why did I want you to come on the Sunshine Summit, because you were all about connections, Rhett Hall. So there you go.
I'm so self-deprecating. So
I know.
most of the time I'm just kidding. It's one of those things from school where I was always, like I said, like a kind of an outcast. So if I could make fun of myself before anybody else did and get them laughing just at that, then it was like a defense mechanism. So I was okay with that. So, high school never ends and it's always the same. So, I just do it because it's funny to me to make fun of myself, because I am such a big handball of dumb energy that I how dare you not let me make fun of myself, Heather.
We're here celebrating connections, and I'm celebrating you, and I'm really glad that we connected. And we've got a question from Derek, and he asked, who would be your swing for the fences dream guest? And then we'll wrap it up and let everyone know where they can find you.
I've said many, many times, this has been asked of me a ton of times, Dave Grohl is my number one, like the guy that I want to have on the show. And if anybody doesn't know who that is, he's the drummer for Foo Fighters. The lead singer for Foo Fighters, and was the drummer for Nirvana. And he's just watching interviews with him. And I mean, I don't think there's any questions that I could ask him that somebody hasn't already asked him, but I would just love to just be inside his brain for 5 minutes, because every time I've ever wanted to every time I've ever looked at like the music industry and stuff like that, I will find interviews with him, and it always just makes so much sense, everything that he says. And I just I don't know, I just think that he would be fun to talk to, and pick his brain. Hopefully off camera I could pick his brain for like an hour and just like learn everything that he knows about everything with the music industry and all of his connections and stuff. It would be really awesome to just sit and talk to him.
That would be incredible. And who knows what the future might hold. So on that note, with the future and how people can connect with you, would you like to tell everyone how they can find Braintrust Network, the Wallfly podcast, and Cardinal branding for us?
Yeah, first of all, I do way too many things. So if you want to find the network, the best way is at braintrust.fm, or on social media at braintrustfm on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And for myself, if you want to find me for whatever reason, again, I'm going to be self-deprecating, at Rhett, the number 2 Society, on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. And then if you have some artwork that you need made, or you want to look into branding or something like that, let me know. And you can find that at Cardinal Brands on Facebook and Twitter. I don't have an Instagram for that, I just haven't made one yet. There's if you do want artwork, there's a submission form in the the URL of the top of the pages on Facebook and Twitter, and you can click that, and you can just basically tell me what you're looking for, what you would want, whatever, and I'll get back to you and we can talk about it. And I would love to work with whoever wants to work with me on their artwork, and put some pretty stuff on the iTunes playlists.
That'd be awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, for anyone who wants to check out the other shows that are on the Braintrust Network, I will adjust the description for this video and have the link there to all of these things so that you can find them and connect with them. Because I think that would be amazing. And thank you so much, Rhett, for joining me today for the Sunshine Summit, for being one of my connections, and for being someone who has been there for me. You offered some help before this as well with things that I was doing. So I just appreciate you and appreciate what you're doing and all of the connections and creative ventures that you were sharing with the world. It's really inspiring. And I really enjoyed the episodes, like I said, with Bandrew on your podcast, where you got to talk to people and sort of sharing their insight with other people's experiences has been amazing. So go and check out all of those ones to learn about people. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Cool. So I'll just go. these are the images that Rhett designed for the Braintrust Network, the Wallfly Podcast, and Cardinal Branding. And like I said, I'll have the links in the description. And yeah, thank you so much for joining us today. And next up, we'll have Anthony and Steph from the Off-Center Archers podcast. We'll have a quick break and we'll be back soon this afternoon. Thank you to everyone who came by the live chat. And yeah, thank you for joining us.